Blackburn.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and Mr. Secretary, again, welcome. We are so pleased to have you before us. A couple of things I want to touch base with you on today. There have been just billions of taxpayer dollars that have ended up with fraud and abuse through some of the grants and the different projects that are out there. And I know that when you look at the infrastructure funding, some of the money that is used for enhancements, not for roads and bridges, but for walking trails, bike paths, things of that nature, have gone to groups that I've got some questions about. I think Tennesseans have questions about them. You've got groups like Speak for the Trees, which received a grant for a project utilizing storytelling and tree walks aimed to increase awareness surrounding inequitable tree canopy cover. So talk to me about how you can assure us that this money is going to go to what is needed: roads, bridges, railways. You've already mentioned today a bridge collapse. You were with me in Memphis when we toured, and DOT worked with Tennessee and Arkansas to address the bridge collapse. So talk with me a little bit about your monitoring of these grants and making certain this money goes for infrastructure.
Well, thank you, Senator. And of course, I remember well the visit to Tennessee and our many conversations about the importance of the I-40 bridge in Memphis, which went through that closure. Every program that's in the bipartisan infrastructure law will be subject to very strict controls and very high standards. And I can tell you that in addition to our own personal attention to this, the President has charged each of the department heads involved in implementing the infrastructure law to make sure that our inspectors general are empowered to provide the oversight that is a very important part of their work as well. Of course, if you encounter any case where you believe that the law is not being followed in the implementation or delivery of a project, we'd certainly encourage you to refer that to my office and or to the Inspector General because it is very important.
Well, we want to make certain that these groups, as the one I mentioned, that money is not going there when we need this for expanded roadways. There are construction projects that are needed to facilitate commerce. And to see money going to something like this is federal government money, it's taxpayer money. You and I talked earlier this morning about the automotive innovation that is taking place in Tennessee, whether it's with electric vehicles or with autonomous vehicles. And the AVs, let's talk about those for a minute, because China is investing heavily in autonomous vehicles and trying to be first to market, and for a vehicle that is going to be affordable. So I would like to hear from you what you are doing at DOT to support the states and to support some of the innovation that is taking place, not only with EVs, but also with AVs. And how are you working with the federal motor vehicle safety standards to set aside areas where this innovation and this testing can take place in order to move these to commercialization?
Well, thank you for raising such an important issue. The future of driving is unquestionably going to include automated vehicles. If we get it right, it means that our vehicle travel will be safer and more efficient. So we're going to continue our collaboration with Congress, with industry, with safety organizations, and other stakeholders to make sure that we are supporting this kind of innovation and making sure that it develops in ways that are safe and beneficial. I should mention that more than many people might be aware, there is not a lot that would stop an automated vehicle from being made available, provided that it meets federal motor vehicle safety standards. We regulate the car, to simplify a little bit, not the driver. But what we're doing is we're working to make sure that our regulations keep pace. I'll give you just a very simple example that could be illustrative here. We have a reference to airbag safety in passenger, it refers to passenger seats and driver seats. But of course, if there is no driver, we have to be concerned about a left seat and a right seat, not a passenger seat and a driver's seat. So even just the very language of our regulations needs to be updated, and we're working on that right now to make sure we keep pace with the innovations that are happening.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm out of time, but regulatory complexity continues to be a problem. I asked you about this. When you came before us for your confirmation hearing, I will submit a question to you on that for the record. Thank you so much. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn.